Welcome to Albion TV presents the AO Daily Show, your source of real news in an unreal world, where we keep you up to date on the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion Online. The goal of the AO Daily Show is to take all of the info that is spread across the entirety of the Albion community, be it Twitter, Discord, Reddit, the official forums, or some random dude in-game, and we break it down into a format that you can digest in less than an hour. Today is Thursday, the 30th of May, and I am your host, Shozen, and with me today is my co-host, Bogul. Bogul, how are you doing?
Hello, Shozen. I'm doing great.
I feel like I'm all alone here at my island. Why is that? Here we go. There he is. There's my boy, Bogul. All right. So let's go ahead and get this started as we do every day with some official news. What do we have going on today? I know that there's two pieces. Let's get with the really easy one. Let's talk about the Morgana challenge. That sucker's ending tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's the last day?
In 1 day, 21 hours from this show. So if you have your last things that you might want to claim, that you might want to finish, that you want to grind the last few points, now is your time. And then I'm looking forward to the next one already.
Oh, do you have any hints as to what it could possibly be, Bogul? I know you've got your finger on the button. What kind of special mount am I getting next? Do you know?
I'm not allowed to say.
Oh, pains me.
Yeah, but it's a cool one. It's a weird one, but it's a cool one.
All right. So is it weirder than Hoppy the Frog?
Sort of.
Okay, you've got me interested now because I don't know what it is. See, guys, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Shozen can't keep secrets. So they often will say, hey, would you like to know this? You can't tell anybody. And I'm like, yes, but if you tell me, I will accidentally tell people. Because I don't know if you know this, but I spend a lot of time on the internet. And, yeah. And so they didn't tell me. But you know what they did tell me? They told me that they're working on the lag issue. Still. Yes. For those of you who weren't here yesterday, we did an update yesterday morning about the current situation with the lag, and it goes something like this. We had assumed, because this had happened in the past, that we were the target of this denial of service attack, and that the perpetrator had switched targets from us individually to our service provider because we had good DDoS protections on our end. And if they went to our host, they could cause us issues. And they were doing that. They were attacking our host and they were causing us issues. One of the biggest data hosts providers in the world was the target. Well, actually, it's one of their other clients is the target, quite honestly. And so we're caught in the crossfire of this other group getting attacked. And yes, it would have been really sweet if they had gone out of their way and said, hey, Albion, guys, you know, you've been contacting us every day about how you've been experiencing this DDoS attack and are worried that they're coming after you. Well, it's not you that they're going after. They're actually going after one of our other clients. They didn't do that. They took their sweet time in letting us know. And so currently, SBI is moving its servers to a new provider, a new host, which can hopefully provide a slightly better service than the one that we're getting now, in that they're not currently being DDoSed, and perhaps if they were, they would at least let us know. In the meantime, while we're trying to switch this, because guys, it's not simple as switching a button. It's not as simple as changing an IP address. You can't just simply go, hey guys, turn it on. It doesn't work like that. You actually have to physically remove things, change a bunch of settings, and then put them into a new housing. So this is going to take a little while. But in the meantime, I'm sure many of you have already noticed that a simple, I don't want to call it a simple fix, a temporary fix has been put in place to allow for slightly better gameplay experience, which I believe everybody is currently getting, right? Everybody is like staying longer than they were yesterday. Like yesterday morning, I was maybe allowed to stay in for like 5 minutes before I felt like I was getting, kicked once again. but I got to play for an extended period last night.
Then you hit the bad timing. I had a much better experience yesterday.
Okay. Well, I know that they changed like the server situation midday yesterday, so
we have a few people in chat actually saying it's not laggy at all recently in the last few hours. No rubber banding. EU time zone seems to be fine.
Oh, excellent. I would tamper your hopes for, prime time. Prime time might be a little rough, guys. But if you're happy now, and yes.
Have you seen the Twitter image?
Oh yeah,
they posted.
Hold on, let me grab that.
That one was ridiculous. I was like, what?
This one is this is a great image. It's back from release, I believe, when we first got DDoS. They threw up this image, which, if you can't see it, for those of you who are listening, is an old school Dell computer being run by a hamster on a wheel, and it's got a number of cords stuck to a pile of potatoes, which I imagine are I'm seeing the little rodent as the CPU and the potatoes as the power supply, because you can run a clock off of a potato. All right. Krista says that yesterday's primetime was fine with 0 lag. Awesome. Really glad to hear it. That's absolutely fantastic. I only got to play during the early part of the day yesterday, so it's absolutely fantastic to hear that the servers are up and running and going well. That's exactly what we want to hear. Thank the beans. All right. Let's get on to that war report, shall we, Bogul?
Yes, we do it every day. It's how we start the show. It's how we try to keep you guys up to date on what's happening. We look at the GVGs. We look at who's been fighting who. We try to pick out some of the interesting parts that make up the story of the... I sometimes call it the GVG conquest story. There's somewhat going on back and forth. Yesterday and the few days before was a tiny bit more quiet, but we had a few things. Do you just want to start from the very top, the Royals?
Well, yeah. Let's first. I'll address the last few days. So right after Invasion, we had crazy amounts of GVGs. I'm talking like 50 GVGs in certain continents. That's insane. 49 GVGs in Glauvia? What? That's too many. Over the weekend, we had over 150 GVGs. That's still a lot. But then the lag really started hitting this weekend. People were just like, you know what? The frustration level is real. We don't want to do this right now. And things have slowed down. We went from 50 in Glauvia to, I think, 10. That's a big difference. But right now, I want to talk just a little bit about the Royals here. We've seen a lot of war camps in the Royals as people are trying to go ahead and get positions. I talked yesterday about how I'd really like to see less squad and EOS and ego maybe in the Royals, but then I got told, guy, that's what we're fighting for right now. That's the big fight right now. We got to get those towers. And I'm like, what? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. You just got 2 new continents full of zones that you can easily go take from people who want to GVG and have some experience and are trying to get a harder game. Why are you going like lobby level and trying to get as easy a prey as you want? And it sounds like it's logistics. If you're one of the main guilds right now, you want to be able to have a free run to your city, whether it's one of the spoke cities, and then to Carleon. And if you're in Carleon, you want to control the areas around Carleon so that you can have a little bit of a buffer. So, yeah, I get it, guys. I understand why you want to attack the Royals, but man, I feel bad for these new guys who just want to get involved in a little bit of GVG action, and then they find themselves going up against...
They can go to the new continent, can't they?
Yes, they could. You'd probably
really
get better
season points. Yeah.
I know what you're seeing. Riode had... Oh, God, what? You guys and your names. Road had? Oh, we'll just go with Road had. Guy, I understand they don't give season points, but it's at the same time, the people who are competing in the Royals right now are the people who are on the round table constantly saying that they wish there was some entry level for GVGs for new players. And it's very rough when you get to see it from 2 sides of the people saying, hey, I want to seeing more ways for new players to get involved, and then those same people who are complaining that there aren't enough ways for new people to get involved are the ones who are cutting out that content from new players because, well, you know, easy prey is easy prey, baby. Get that full loot.
I mean, it's a sandbox game after all, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, who are we to tell them where to fight?
No, we can't. We can't. Obviously, we can't. I can try, but they don't listen. They don't listen.
Yeah.
So let's go over and look at our boy Glavia, the big glove, if you will. Somebody actually sent me an in-game mail telling me that it's not Glavia, it's Glovia. It's Glovia.
What?
Yeah, I think he's wrong. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm pretty sure it's Glavia and not Glovia. So, guy, I get what you're saying.
Gluvia?
Gluvia. Glove.
Like glue?
No, like glove. Like glove. Like he wrote it like glove. Like a thing you put on your hand. Like O.J. Simpson doesn't fit, must have quit. Glovia. No, it's Glavia. Glavia. I think. We should probably get Robin Hankis in here someday soon to explain to us how to pronounce
these names. All these names once.
Yes. Oh my God. That's what we should do is we should get the devs in to read the names of the tiles. Let's see if they can pronounce coppice.
What? Coppice?
Yeah, the small clearing of trees that are regularly harvested so that they can become better, straighter trees so that you can get them for lumber. A coppice.
Me no English. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anybody who wrote those tiles was speaking English at the time either. So let's talk about Glavia. We have seen Salty and Nashira. Is that what they're called?
Mm-hmm.
Nashira?
Yeah.
They've been going at it quite a bit over the last few days. Can you give me a tile where they're fighting?
I think it's been Ronald Quarry that went back and forth. Both these matches have been very close. It's like 40-0 and 30-something to 0, I think. So they seem to have found their match, both of these, and I'm curious to see how this will develop. Who will be victorious?
Ronald Quarry.
Thought initially So Salty was just going to, mop the floor with them.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they are actually, putting up a fight, and it's working.
All right, interesting, because we have definitely seen good things from So Salty in the past that I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think that this would go this way, honestly. So Nashira, well done, because from what I understand, you're a brand new little guild out there getting bullied around by the big guys, and if you're winning a few matches, that's great to see. I believe we saw you win 2 matches on Monday of last week. So well done.
Yeah. And I think that was already Glavia.
That's Glavia. Yeah. Honestly, Glavia was pretty weak. We had a bunch more stuff happening in Siluria as we keep seeing the fight over what is it, Shallow Fen?
I think so, yes. Shallow Fen.
Yeah, that's the home plot over here in Siluria that these guys have been going at since it was taken, right? Since Varenga took this plot, every other day it seems Varenga has had to defend. They won't be defending tonight. Lucky them. But yesterday they had one of the weirdest situations I've seen as both teams attacked each other. You had Varenga and their opponent there, the Dream, both attacked. So Varenga attacked the farm and the Dream attacked the home plot. Both teams were able to defend so well that they got a counterattack, and then they both counterattacked. So the home plot and the farm both had 2 fights. So there were 4 fights in 40 minutes. That's a lot of GVGing for a 40-minute time period. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but to me, the interesting thing about this situation is that apparently the Dream is not able to put enough pressure, enough constant pressure on the home plot of Varenga here. It seems like they can't do it every day. And then as soon as they can't follow through and constantly pressure them, they just regenerate a shield and, just set it out. It's annoying that they have their farm because now they have to do the logistics and figure out how to get the food there.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's their plan, if they're just like, well, we can't beat them.
Starve them out.
Yeah, we
like
can't in a fight. We just annoy them to death.
We've actually, I remember back during beta, that was one of the tactics, was to starve out your opponent. Was if you could just hold the zone long enough so that they could not get in food, you could really do damage. But back then it was a lot harder to get to your home plot than it is today. Though this one, I'm trying to find where the earliest portal is to this shallow fen, or the closest portal, and it looks like it's
like 3-4 zones.
It's pretty good distance away. It's 4 zones away. Yeah. You have to go to Owlwood, Falling Glen, Murkwater Basin, then to Shallow Fen. That's a long walk. Yeah, that's dangerous territory to be going through there. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the guilds that are over here doing the work, because we just mentioned the Dream. The Dream has actually been very aggressive over here. They had a number of fights over the last few days, and for not having many territories in Siluria, they're having a lot of fights. Yeah, they may have lost some of the territories by being so aggressive, but the only other guild that is as aggressive as them has been Hard Charge, which, for anybody who knows the history of Hard Charge, that makes sense, because that's No Life, that's Nilfgaard, two very, very aggressive GVG focused guilds. So you expect that from those guys. But the Dream?
Yeah.
The Dream, I think, lost all but that farm. So good luck, Dream. I mean, I don't see you around anymore. It's hard being that aggressive. It's hard.
Oh, one more thing. I think I remember yesterday you told me about Millennium. You told me that they were what's the English word? Approaching or going towards Archganistan there. I know you're showing it on the map right now, but do you want to tell the people what's been happening there? I was looking at the home plot, and to me personally, it looked like they are getting ready to leave their area, or they're developing outwards of their own home plot they have.
Oh, are you talking about Millennium?
Yes.
So yeah, Millennium, it's interesting because Millennium is fighting Aggressor on 2 separate continents right now. Aggressor currently is in Hoofburn Steppe, which is near the home plot of Heat Shimmer Meadow up in Siluria, which is Millennium's new home plot up there. Now, they've been going back and forth since this situation unfolded about 2 weeks ago with Invasion Day. And it's been crazy watching these guys go at it, because it's been very back and forth. You know, one guy takes the tower or the other guy gives it back. And that's in 2 separate continents right now. And I believe that Millennium's goal here is to put pressure on Archganistan. I don't think Aggressor is their target. But Aggressor, looking for content, because that's what Skuzkabel does, says, Millennium, boom, the GVG, we'll get content. I'll take that any day of the week. And he has been. He's been taking it every single day of the week. He's been trying to get some content from these guys. And it's going to be interesting to see if Aggressor comes over and cuts off Millennium from attacking Arch, because you'd think there's no real reason for EOS to defend Arch, other than that it's hilarious.
Hey, do you think in the last, 1, 2, 3.5 days until the 2 weeks time frame I set for Archganistan to last, we could see them lose?
No. Maybe. Quite possible.
You think my estimation there was too optimistic, and Arch is actually doing a way better job than I thought?
See, that's a weird thing to say. More optimistic. See, I'm optimistic that Arch can hold it, because while I'm not a guy who would ever be an Arch, I definitely like that Arch exists. I think what they do is interesting, like the videos that we get to see of people going in there and doing zombie horde mode versus Arch, or the kamikaze builds that people are building just to go in there and see how many Arch they can take down with one shot. That's some really, really
there were like 3 or 4 videos now, right? Where everybody is like, oh, I saw this on Reddit, let me try this. And then they drop a few 100k on gear and then explode a bunch of guys and like, kill fame.
Yeah, it's you just get some gear that you don't mind losing, go in and see how long you can last, how many guys you can blow up, how much fun you can have. And I think that's a reason to keep Arch around. So let's talk really quick about Anglia here, because we want to get through this GVG report in a little bit, because we have a lot of other stuff to talk about. Ironborn has been fighting Articulo Mortis for I guess just as long as they've been here. I would say as soon as Bridgelock started to be in existence and having some territories over here, they were finding themselves butting head with Articulo Mortis. And Articulo Mortis is one of those guilds that I don't want to be harsh here, but they're more skilled than their territory. Like they are better than the area in which they've settled. And the reason they're settled there is because of their size. They are a single guild fighting against alliances of 4,000 to 9,000 people. I mean, this is kind of crazy. And they're holding their own, because the way this game is designed, though Gluttony, you may hate this, is that any guild of any size can hold up against any guild of any size if they have the skill, because it's around 5v5. And if you can get 5 guys together, you can defend your guild. And these guys have been able to do that supremely. A couple of weeks ago, I talked to them, and they said, yeah, we've only lost 2 matches outside of Crystal Realms. And
what?
then, yeah.
Out of how many?
A lot. And
I mean, I heard that.
And they were against Derek. And then they then last week they started fighting against Bridgelock, and Bridgelock came with a new comp. And with that new comp, they were able to beat them 2 times in a row. Solid, handily.
That's interesting.
Really give these guys some real losses. And that caused Articulo Mortis to change it up. Fun Stealer's asking who said that. That is from Lalance. Elkite? Yeah, that's Scuzzcabell. Scuzzcabell, okay. Fun Stealer is saying Scuzzcabell lost a bunch to Conflict. Scuzzcabell is not in Articulo Mortis. We're currently talking about Articulo Mortis versus Bridgelock. Yeah, this is the joys of live TV, where you're actually communicating with your audience. They get confused, it confuses you, everybody gets confused. You have a circular argument of confusion. It's okay. Articulo Mortis kicks ass. Scuzzcabell kicks less ass. Still kicks ass.
Okay.
Less ass. So okay. But they started losing, so they switched up their comp. They dropped the double tank build. They went with a single tank build with the current meta of the Ironclad, and they were able to win. And they've been winning solidly since, taking 3 victories yesterday against a guild they were having some serious problems with. And it seems like their contentedness to stay in one location has gone away, as it seems they're kind of moving out and doing a little bit more. Yeah.
Towards Bridgelock?
Towards Bridgelock, towards Ego, in all directions. Now, there's not a lot of GVGs scheduled today from these guys, as I think that people are kind of like just waiting for the current lag situation to pass and make sure that things are good before they start redeclaring attacks. But I got to tell you, right now I'm looking at Bridgelock is currently attacking Logjam Pen from Stillpool Mound. Stillpool Mound is their home plot. They're attacking from their farm. If they attack from their farm against Articulo Mortis and have a bad go, Articulo Mortis is coming after that farm. Like, no doubt.
That
like,
could go faster than you might want.
Right. That isn't exactly. I wouldn't have done that, Bridgelock. But everybody's open to their own tactics, right? So
we want to talk about Bridgelock more later. But
because I didn't interview. Yeah, we're gonna finish up this war report. We'll go really quick to Cumbria. Cumbria was Metatron and Aggressor. Metatron beat Aggressor. They're fighting on multiple continents. The end of story. The end. Conflict over. Going over to Mercia. Okay. Oh boy. Squad, guys, I love you, but Oops took 3 territories from you yesterday. That's the story. They were able to, you had a back and forth in Clay Hill. First squad beat Oops for Clay Hill. And then squad was like, Oops was like, we're risking it. We're risking Langdale. We're going back in. They went back in and they took it.
They have almost all of the South back again.
Yeah, they have almost all the South back. The only one they're missing is Craigdale. So Craigdale, Well of the Worlds, and then I would say this pretty much is Oops territory, Southern Mercia. So we might have to put another F in chat tomorrow for Southern Mercia.
Again.
Again, yeah. Okay. But it's good to see. I'm gonna be honest. I really like seeing the matches go back and forth between these two guys, Sorab and Cargera, as they are I would say like the two big names that people recognize. In these two teams. I'm sure there are other players people recognize, but yeah, those are the ones who are creating the meta right now, and it's absolutely great to see them fight on a daily basis. And I'm hoping that I'll get to see a fight between them later today. But no guarantees. No guarantees at this point. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on.
Let's talk about Bridgelock, the TBI. Or actually, we have one recommendation, I guess, to keep an eye out for GVDs. And then we can find a way to talk from that about your interview. Go into that. We have the Arch Farm that's under attack in Tailborn Cleft coming up tonight. And then we have Infinite attacking Bright Ripple Well Farm.
Yeah, we've already looked up at Tailbone Cleft. That's up in Afghanistan, which we just let you guys know about. But this one we were looking at, and this one, I worry about this one. Over in Bright Ripple Well.
Who is getting attacked there?
You say it, because I tried pronounce this.
On it?
Yeah, I clicked on it.
Golanski Sturval?
Sure.
Something like this. Golandi. Sounds Polish? Eastern European?
Yes. Sounds
If you're listening, tell us where you're from. We haven't seen you yet.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about it before you're gone. Oh, I hear that MSSJ says that they're Russian. Okay, good to know. Good to know. We'll see. Dutch steering wheel? Okay. Guys, sometimes I just read chat and it doesn't make any sense. You think it doesn't make sense to you hearing it? Imagine how little sense it makes to me when I read it. But yeah, it looks like Infinite, a very well-established guild, powerful in their own right, has been around for at least since beta. I've seen them since beta. I believe they've been around since alpha. I cross my fingers that I'm right on that. X-Orgy has been a part of the community for as long as I can remember. So it's going to be interesting to see if these new guys can defend their farm tonight. And we're going to have to tune in for that. Find out. It's in an hour and a half. Interesting. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see. And that's what we have coming up. But let's talk about Bridgelock. Now, Bridgelock started as, from what I understand, as a newbie-friendly guild, as a split-off from Sun. And then they kind of started doing more than that, right? I mean, they took territory, they took home plots, and now they're doing quite well.
Yeah, they made a whole alliance, the Bridgelock Initiative, and they have how many players? Like 4,000 members in the alliance, 5,400 actually right now in TBI, the Bridgelock Initiative. Founded by Fullbeard, which is I think a Frank Sinatra alt, with 80 guilds right now in that alliance, which is huge. And you had the chance to talk to one of the leadership team there, right?
Yeah, I did. I got to talk to the Right Hand. I was not aware he was the Right Hand at the time because I didn't know. So as you're going to find out, I was dreadfully uninformed about Bridgelock until I talked to BenRilley, the Right Hand of Bridgelock and the TBI initiative. So let's go ahead and get right into it and hear what they have to say.
Okay.
All right. Hello. Today we are with BenRilley of Bridgelock and the Bridgelock initiative. He is I believe you are the GM, correct?
I'm the Right Hand, yes.
Right Hand. Right Hand to Frank Sinatra, who's running everything, right?
Frank doesn't really have anything to do with it. It was kind of his brainchild in the beginning. So he helped set it up, and then after that, he kind of washed his hands with it. And he wanted to see what we could do and where we could go with it.
All right, yeah. So how did it start then? If it was Frank's brainchild and you're the right hand, what is your connection to Frank, and how did you get involved in running this? Because you say you not only run the guild Bridgelock, but the Bridgelock Initiative TBI.
Yeah, so right before the free-to-play came out, Frank wanted to have a guild or have a new alliance that would help new players get a foothold in the black zone and, kind of show them what some of the in-game content looks like. So our goal was to kind of show them what professional fame farm groups look like, what ZBZs and crystal GBGs and just regular GBGs were, and just kind of give them a foothold into the deeper elements of Albion so that we could keep them in the game longer, and therefore create a stronger community by having more people play the game. Because everybody knows that, the more people that play the game, the more success the game has, the longer it's going to be around. So he kind of threw it out to a couple Sun members, hey, we've got this thing that we've kind of been wanting to go along and kind of taking volunteers. And there was 3 of us that, that kind of volunteered and said, yeah, we would like to have something to do with it. And the next thing I know, I'm like the right hand. And then we've got Monet and Notorious that help out with their certain aspects of the guild and the alliance. And it just kind of blew up from there. We've got over 5,000 members who are very active. We've got over 30 guys on the EU side and 30 plus on the NA side that are both training for GVGs and wanting to become successful GVG teams. We Zerg every day, a couple times a day. We've got mage rage groups going out, so the guild is very, very active. A very strong community of a really nice set of players that we've got.
Well, I've heard really good things about you, both as a community, because I've heard there are guilds around you who are just kind of like letting you guys do what you need to do as far as growing and not attacking you, because they really like the idea that you're trying to give a new home to, a home to new players from the free-to-play experience. And also, as far as GVGs, you've developed a little bit of a reputation. As the last guys I interviewed, Articulo Mortis, one of my favorite GVG teams of all time, said you guys put a couple of beatings on them in a row and caused them to really rethink how they were doing things, and have put a good war front on them out of nowhere, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, Articulo Mortis is really good. Of course, most of the GVG players that we go against are really good. Every team has their own set of skills and strengths, and I just kind of let our guys play how they want to play and who they want to attack. And one thing that right from the get-go, basically from the smallest guy that has no fame all the way up to the guy that has the most fame is anytime they join Bridgelock or the Bridgelock Initiative, no content is pushed on them. So if they want a GVG, as long as they can prove themselves that they can GVG, we let them do that. If they want to go out and Zerg and fame farm and whatever, they can do that at any time. If they want to be a leader and stand up and say, hey, I've got 20 guys, let's go do this, they're more than welcome to go do that. There's nothing that holds any of those guys back. So I'm not one of those people that says, you know what, there's a war camp in 20 minutes and I want everybody online and we're going to do this, we're going to kick you. That's not the case. We try to have as much content as they want to get, when they want to get it, and how they want to get it.
Well, that's a really cool way to look at things, and I'm sure for new players who aren't used to the rigors of the CTAs and the war camps and having to be at every single event, be it castle, war camp, or just denial of content to somebody else, it's got to be a refreshing thing. It's got to be a nice thing for them to come in and just get what they want to do, whatever content that it is. Do you are you having any trouble getting people to come to the events? Like you said, you're big in ZVZs. Are you getting good numbers for your ZVZs?
Oh yeah, when on reset day, just this last reset on the EU side, we had over 450 members for the EU reset. And then I thought, well, it's going to calm down and we won't have anybody on the NA side. On the NA side of the reset, we had over 170 players online trying to get territories and form groups and stuff up. So the guild is hungry. The alliance is hungry. They want to do stuff. They want to get out there and and conquer and make it theirs. So that's awesome.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear. Do you guys have any plans for your near future now that, because you've really established yourself? I mean, you guys have a good little war going on with Articulum Mortis. I understand that it's gone back and forth the last few days, and I don't know, you guys aren't really fighting Infinite, are you?
On and off. It just depends on, like I said, what the GVG guys want to do. I pretty much leave it up to them. They tell me, hey, we're gonna do this, this, and this. Is this okay? Like, sounds fantastic. You guys go at it. Go have a day. Go have a ball. Right now, our main goal is to get the other guilds that's in the alliance kind of up and running. Since we've joined the alliance, we've got guilds like the White Skulls, Just for Fun, Blackout, Cute and Casual, and then of course our newest member, the Fricks, joined. And our goal is for all these guilds that are coming up that have these players that want GVGs. We want to give that to them. So we've been kind of handing out a couple territories here and there to some of the stronger members of our alliance, some of the stronger guilds that have shown leadership and have went out and that are more hungry than the others. So yeah, I mean, we're ecstatic for all the people that we have.
That's excellent. I'm really glad to see that the new players have really found a home and they're doing well. I was a big fan of Squad's version of this, Easy, and I participated with them through the first couple of weeks after reset. But seeing that there's other people out there doing it and having way more success, like Easy did well. Claps to Easy over in the back. But you guys, you didn't just make a guild, you made a full alliance, you've brought in thousands of people into the fold, and you've established a good chunk of territory. That's really impressive. So hats off to you guys. We hope to hear more from you guys in the future. And is there anything you'd like to say, any shout outs you'd like to make before we go?
Just if you guys are looking for a home, hit us up. It just depends. Some days I'm accepting groups, some days I'm not. Depends on how many members we got coming in and growing with us. But we're always looking for fresh blood. We want the more the merrier. So if you guys are looking for a home, come try out Bridgelock.
All right. Thank you, BenRilley.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you. I hope you liked that interview. It was nice to get to hear from BenRilley. I guess he's the clone of Spider-Man. I didn't realize that until I was halfway through the interview. And I was like, oh, wait, this guy's Spider-Man. He's a clone of Spider-Man. That's great.
Huh.
Yeah, nobody knows that. That's a deep cut. If you're wondering, that's a real deep cut into the lore of Spider-Man.
I was listening to the interview, and the one thing that struck me was how many people they actually are, if you think about it. And that's a huge thing that's been brewing kind of in the shadows there. And I'm so much looking forward to seeing them, getting out there. They already have a lot of area. Mm-hmm. And I'm really looking forward to see where this is going, and if they will be, a counter initiative to some of the other power blocks that are out there. I'm assuming they're kind of related to Squad though, but I mean,
wait, who's related to Squad?
Oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're related to. I guess they have a connection to Sun, and therefore a connection to Oops. But I think it's no stronger than Easy's connection to Squad. Now, Easy, they'll occasionally pull a few members out of Easy and they'll get brought into like a Squad alliance. But I think Bridgelock is even less so with Oops. I don't think people are going from Bridgelock right now and joining Oops guilds at the moment. I think they're enjoying what they have, and I really like that Frank Sinatra and Sun and BenRilley and these guys were able to make something really cool that is very good for these new players. And it's not just good for them in that it's working and they're getting content. They're getting the highest content the game can offer. They're getting GVGs. They're owning Black Zone territories. They're involved in castle fights. They're hitting ZVZs and Invasion Day. It's awesome. It's really impressive. It's really impressive that they're doing so well. And yes, they were just a splinter group off. It was like a pet project. It's never been part of Oops, but it was of Frank Sinatra. So Frank, thank you. Another well done thing in the community from Frank Sinatra. And this one we didn't have to spend 4 hours reading. All right, on to the marketplace gold watch. Let's check this out. Bogul, what is going on with gold?
Who knows, man? We do a little bit of a Econ Watch Thursday thing every week, where we try to keep an eye on what's been happening with gold, if there are any stories that are happening in the, Econ PvP side of things. And one thing that stood out yesterday, the day before, was the gold spike that happened. When we had our show, I think on Tuesday, when we were live, we saw a spike of 2,300 gold.
Yeah, that was, let's be clear, that was the buy price, though. That was not the sell price. So if you look at the average trade price, what it's showing you is the sell price. If you go to the buy price, you're going to get a different price on that, just slightly different. But when it's going really spiky, it gets really... whoa, Fun Stealer says it hit 2,400. I did not see that, Fun Stealer. 23 I thought was quite the hike.
I mean, if you're listing your sell orders there, then you're selling for 2.3, right? Or 2.4. Then that's what's happening. So if you were lucky enough to have a few listed, or a few thousand gold listed at that price point at that time, you will have sold at 2,300, 2,400. But since then, it has sort of calmed down a little bit. It's still above 2,000. It's actually on the edge of trying to break 2,100. It's slightly above 2.1. But I'm curious to see where this will go. I know we have the auctions right now, the city plot auctions, where a lot of people are converting some of their resources, their stocked up gold, to be able to bid on these city plots. And probably a lot of people are getting through what might be their first month since free to play, right? This might also be coming up soon. And see, some people might be looking at their experience since joining, and then maybe they bought a month of premium there, and then they're like, well, now I had a month to play and I can afford to pay my premium with silver. Who knows? So a bunch of factors are coming together, I think, right now that push the gold price a little bit. But the interesting thing really is where this will go. And honestly, I don't know. And I don't want to be the guy who's giving any sort of advice either way, because I've been wrong so many times. And you told me that you had not your brightest moments as well in the past with economy stuff. So
yeah, I've definitely made more than a few mistakes, but it's from mistakes that you learn and then start making the money.
Yeah, but if you get lucky a few times, that doesn't make you an expert, and we don't know any we don't know any real super solid trends, and we can't
Yeah. I would say if you want
we can report on the numbers, but we can't really.
Yeah, if you want to make money, I suggest you go look at Robinhood RS or Lupac. They have some great videos on how to make money quickly. And it's not from scamming or doing, weird turnarounds and buy low, sell high kind of nonsense. It's about what you can do in the world to go out, engage in an activity that has a high silver return rate in certain situations. And they both give you multiple options on how to make silver very quickly. I believe Lupac had one where he was making 10 million silver a day. So that's just, woohoo. That's
what?
Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I want to talk about the economy, though. I want to talk about the plot auctions a little bit.
Yeah, okay. We actually have a correction to make on those plot auctions, Bogul.
Okay.
Because if you guys are looking right now, I'm showing a bunch of plots that says winning bid was 42,000 silver, 47,000 silver, 41,000 silver. Now, I had said incorrectly that this was basically free real estate for anybody who wanted to go and bid on these. And then Bogul and I got to talking, and we were like, well, it's blind auctions. And the way that the blind auction works is that you pay 1 silver more, the winner pays 1 silver more than the second highest option. So If the second bid is only 2,500 silver, you're going to pay 2,501 silver, even if you bid 4 million silver.
Yeah. Ooh, bless you.
Yeah, thank you. I had a bit of a cough there. But if nobody is, if you're owning a building, nobody is going, I'm not going to bid on my building a reasonable amount. Nobody is going, I'm going to bid 50,000 silver on my home, my tier 8 whatever building. I don't care. It's like Cook, who cares?
Yeah.
You're gonna put in a 2 million silver into it and say nobody bid 3 million, nobody bid 3 million, nobody bid 3 million. But if you put 2 million in, your bid counts double. So they'd have to put 4 million and 1 silver to beat you, because your bid counts all the way up to 4 million silver. So if I'm just coming up with a random number. Yeah, 60 million is more
the things
realistic.
you are showing, the images you are showing, they're screenshots of very low plots from situations that only came up and were visible, a few days ago. But these are the exception, right? These are not what is the average, how people defended them.
Mm-hmm.
These are like some situations where people just didn't have anybody trying to get their plot. These are situations where maybe people were looking at the map in the city and they're like, this guy owns 30 plots. Maybe he has enough money that he will outbid me anyway, so I'm not even going to try.
Right.
And then they pick on a different one, and there have been a bunch of plots in Carleon that were,
yes.
50, 100 million, and much more.
Yeah, there's been a lot of plots that also switched hands in Carleon over the last. When they went to the blind auction system, people didn't really know how to do it right. As you can see, there are buildings that literally went for 51,000, and that's just the second bid plus 1 silver. And yeah, they definitely bid more than that for sure to keep their plot, but that means that there are likely there's somewhere out there where you can get lucky. If you go out there, just try. If everybody listening goes out there and puts 100 million down on a plot, somebody's going to walk away with a plot. I guarantee it. And speaking of plots and how much money you can make with plots, we recently heard from Vok, right?
Yeah, the infamous and famous at the same time Vok, who has had a interesting thing going for him, or he first let's talk about who Vok is, because he is sort of a famous person in the world of Albion.
Infamous.
Infamous. Okay, that's a better word. He recently came back, I think, from a little bit of a hiatus. About a year ago, he got really famous for being one of the first people to have tier 8 buildings and to craft tier 8 plate, I think. That's initially how he became famous. He's a crafter and more of a econ sort of a guy that is very adept at promoting himself, at least in the past. It was. You can see a bunch of Reddit and forum posts where, he criticizes the Carleon Mafia, and he's trying to, build this story about that the mafia is controlling all the cities and plots and monopolies, and this kind of thing always makes me go, is this real? Because on the one hand, I can see that a few people own a lot of plots in Carleon, for example. There's like 20, 30 different people who own plots in Carleon, and some people own as much as like 10 different plots, 15.
Right.
Which is a lot of plots. And then it's easy to go like to your conclusion, like this must be a mafia, everybody must be colluding, and there is a Discord where they fix prices and yada yada yada. So what he did, he bought a plot. He was trying to be as transparent about it as possible. He set the tax rate to 15%, which is what most of the plots in Carleon run as your associate rate. Because if you look at the map of Carleon and you click at a building there, or you hover over it, and then you can see two different rates. One is like a public rate, and one is for like friends and associates. So if you have like if you know the guy who owns the plot, he can set you as associate, and then he can charge you less than he would charge publicly. Anyways, he was using this rate that most people would charge their friends and just put it public. So everybody went to his Warriors Forge and was using it constantly, so much so that it ran out of the crafting capacity.
Right.
A bunch of times. And then he made a Reddit post, I think yesterday. It's called 1 Hour Ramble on Economy or something.
It's just an hour of rambling.
Where he, tries to address some of his critics who are saying, well, these numbers didn't make sense, and here's what didn't work. And then he was trying to defend himself. And when I look at these, I was trying to follow along with his numbers and his justification, and to me it makes a lot of sense what he's saying.
Right.
Of course, the problem that he can prove and that nobody can prove, because if you don't really keep track how much you pay for your food exactly,
then you'd have no idea.
Then it's really hard. But this is such a manual task to, keep track of. If you buy 1,500 food at this price, and then at the next day the market goes up a little, and then you have to have other factors, it's really hard to keep good track and to be wanting to be transparent as well. But for most of what he says, I think he's more or less actually saying what has been happening. And looking at the numbers for everybody who's curious, he says he spent about 100 million for this experiment, to buy the plot, to pay for the stone, to pay for the food, and at the end of the month he will likely profit about like 50-ish million silver. So right now, inside the forge, inside his video, the revenue of that Warriors Forge has almost 150 million in it. So that's, depending on how strict you want to be, moving those numbers up and down, you can argue if he makes 20 million profit, 10 million profit, 50 million profit. It seems like he made a profit.
Yeah, it seems like he made a profit, but I'm going to go with his numbers. I don't think they're exactly accurate. And
I don't know.
And I'm going to tell you, in my own, like, if he's only making 150 million from investing all that money and time and effort into a single building, you could just go with a loot pack idea and just burn focus every day and make yourself 10 million a day.
I mean, his thing, I think, is also trying to do like a public service to either build reputation for himself, or, which is the more interesting thing, trying to stick it to the quote-unquote cartel of Carleon. Because there's this conspiracy thing that's been in the game forever, where everybody's saying that the shop owners and the guild who owns the city are conspiring to make everything more expensive, to artificially inflate the stone pricing, to artificially charge higher rates than it has to be. And it's full-blown capitalism in a situation where there are not a lot of controls.
Right.
And that also led to the blind auction system a while back, like last month. So there's a lot of things going on in that circle, but to get into that circle, you need to either be a GM of Blue Army, which is not so easy.
Nope.
Or have a few 100 million in spare cash, at least to play in Carleon. In most of the royal cities, you can get into the game much, much cheaper. But the big boys who have been owning land and plots in Carleon, to play that game, I've tried a few times, and you need to reserve like 100 to 200 million silver, to get one plot.
To play. Yeah, just to play. It makes the Texas Hold'em Las Vegas tournament seem like chump change. Guys, It is not easy to get inside the building market, but if you do, there is profit to be made. I don't suggest going at 15% like Vok, as I'm going to tell you that the margins on buildings are tighter than what's being discussed here. They are very, very slim, and you need to have dedicated people to use your building, not just rely on your percentage dragging people in. The most profitable ones are the ones with dedicated users.
Yeah, that's one thing. If you have a lot of associates who actually run your at that certain profit margin. But the other thing is what he was trying to do is just get the cheapest possible one, which per default drives all the traffic to him. And in that case, it's a very, very special situation that is not easy to achieve, right? Because you are at the very, very fine line of profit, or like barely making profit, going for the whole month there, and then it can get risky, and you can easily dump like 20, 30, 40 million into this kind of experiment. So a little bit of caution, but if you look at your numbers, if you look at your food, if you have connections how to get food cheaper, or if you are good at using focus efficiently to make your own food, then I think you're getting close to what is required
for profitability.
To play that game.
All right,
and I guess that's the bigger thing that was going on with Vok and the plot auctions that are coming up, and our little look at the econ side of things.
We'll do this.
And I know we're almost running out of time, but I want to say one more thing, because we have a little bit of a follow-up. That's a totally different topic. But do you remember when I tried to approach ZR1K1, the guy who has
okay, here I'll bring him up right now on the rankings here. If we go to this week, ZR1K1 has 40 million fame more than Delicious Milk GG. And number 3 only has 22 million period. So at 98 million fame for a week, that's a lot of fame. I mean, he's coming up on the all-time numbers now. He went from nowhere, anywhere to number 4 all-time. That means he passed you, Bogul. He dropped you down a spot.
I'm kind of mad, but
yeah.
Anyhow, I tried to get in touch with him. He said, no, thank you. And then 2 days later, he sent me this very cute message.
It was very cute.
Do you want to read it, or should I?
I wish I could just make it on my screen, but I don't have the ability to make that picture big. Okay. Go ahead, read it for us.
Okay. So from ZR1K1, subject, about TV. Hello. Cancel your offer because my English is bad. But my wife want to TV. She nick is Vasily. She top 6 in gathering fame, and she offers her in Guild 1 PG. If interest, write her. And that's so cool.
Yeah, we're gonna. Absolutely. We're gonna write his wife and send her messages so she can PTV.
Before I get anybody saying, oh, the guy has bad English, that's the point. That's the awesome stuff about it.
Yeah, that's Albion Online.
Yeah.
Like
I'm talking to some Russian on the other, I don't know if it's Russian, but on the other side of the world, and we are using this thing to communicate, and I think it's awesome.
I think it's awesome. Yeah, one of the specials I want to do is getting together a bunch of people who actually learn to speak English from Albion Online, because there are a ton of them. Like, I've met so many people who I didn't know this, but just 2 years ago didn't speak any English at all and learned how to speak English just by playing a video game with other people. All right, so one last follow-up before we get out of here, because we're already running up on an hour, which is far too long for us. But I had a question yesterday from Malithar. Malithar is one of the new players who started watching us recently, and he's just like, hey, I have a question. It might seem weird to you, but you keep mentioning this guy Rosalia. Who is Rosalia? Hold on, I'm gonna actually bring up his. Boom. Another random question for the Daily Show. Who is Rosalia? T8 tome named after her, but the only details is honoring her support over the years. I was curious if she was just the biggest backer of the game in the early days, or perhaps a supporter who passed away and the tome was named after her to honor her memory or something. Well, let's see.
I know the answer.
I actually, I'm in a guild with Rosalia. We've been in a guild for a very, very long time, since my third week of the game. And let's see,
4 years maybe.
Yeah. So I asked his guild. Oh, I'm sorry. I asked their guild, who was Rosalia, and this is the compilation that their guild made. Okay, Rosalia is actually Saya, a lady furry who used improper relationship with the former CEO of Albion and used this relationship as blackmail to get an in-game item. Yeah, that was the information that Rosalia's guild gave. So you can either take that, or I can tell you what actually is the story with Rosalia. What should I do?
You can tell me why he got famous in the first place.
All right, so Rosalia is not a she. First of all, Rosalia is a he. He's German. He is probably the best gamer I've ever met. Best at playing games I've ever met. Better at just finding out how to do something completely unique with the tools available and making things that seem completely useless OP. Like, this guy was the first one to go into dungeons and play the quick swipe game of let's log out and hide in a corner, wait till everybody gets downed, and then go punch them. And then take all their stuff. Naked. Naked punching executes, just killing people who were downed on their knees. Let's see. It just complained at a level that I've never seen anyone do before to get things changed, directly to the CEO at the time, Bridgelock, and through
with a persistence that is
just a persist.
Yeah,
unbelievable. To put this guy into perspective, there are only 3 people I've ever been willing to play games with outside of Albion, and Rosalia is one of them. So he's really good at all video games. His Monster Hunter videos are the thing of legend. His Albion videos, like you're seeing now, 30 minutes of fishing, are just ridiculous. Through every phase of the game up until release, for the first 2 weeks of each phase, this guy was #1 in fame. Or #2. Sometimes Kazja, as you can see here in this video, was #1, as they would go back and forth depending on who was getting the extra points at any given time. But yeah, Rosalia was real good at the game. Rosalia ran the testing group for a while, still hangs out to this day, is a mod in our Twitch channel. Just a really decent dude who's absolutely fantastic at video games. And for all their efforts that they put in to making this game better, that's why they got the tome. Yeah.
Big shout out from my side too.
Absolutely love playing with this guy. Thank you for everything you've done for the community of Albion, Rosalia, and keep trolling us. Keep trolling us with your videos and your nonsense and your weird personality. I just love it. All right. Is there anything else we need to get to today? If I look at these notes, Bogul, what else have we got? Because we just got to skip them because we're 3 minutes over.
No. If we need to get to more, we can't. We'll just do it tomorrow.
All right.
We need to get out of here.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you for tuning in. You can check us every day at 12 UTC, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right here on twitch.tv/Albion Online. You can find me also on Mondays and Thursdays at 18 UTC right here for GVG shows. Mondays, I do the Off Meta Monday show with Tazik, and then Thursday, I do the GVG Highlight show with Lupak. You can also check this show out on SoundCloud and on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. So I think that's all the places. So until then, guys, Albion, we're going to miss you. See you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Yeah, boy!
Goodbye, guys. See you around.